So let's try this out. I'm hoping that it's live, but I don't know. I've been having some issues with this thing. We'll see what happens. Let's give it a minute and see if we can get the live working. So I'm on a new my computer broke, right? So my computer kind of last weekend it just went haywire and I had to completely delete everything and start all the way over. So here we are. We started over. We're going to see, hopefully you can hear me. So I'm going to find out as soon as somebody jumps in here if you can hear me or if I'm on mute talking again. But hey, let's talk about trucking and all that good stuff once somebody gets in here. It's been a pretty crazy time here lately. Like, what's going on, D's? Hey, am I muted? Like, let me know if I'm muted or not because I'm kind of curious if I'm muted or not. Oh wow, this I didn't set up the chat box. Where can I get my chat box? I guess I'll just look at it over here. Trucker Steve, what's going on, man? Sounds good. You can hear me. Okay, great. Great. That's what I wanted to know. I was like, oh my gosh. I had to like redo my whole computer. So I was like, please let this thing work. And I still don't have it completely set up the way that I want it. So I was like, we're gonna just see if the mic works today. That's my main concern. Hopefully the mic works, and I'm glad y'all are like, hey, it's working. But I have no chat. I have to look way over here to see what the chat is. Strange start time. Yeah, I just went ahead and started at Greenwich. I was like, man, I don't know if it's going to work or not. So I'm going to start early. And if we have to mess with the mic or anything, like I have a couple minutes before it's my normal time. But yeah, oh, look at this. That's where you, no, that's not where your chat is. I thought that was where my chat was, but it's not. That's Yeah, I thought that that was where my chat is, but nope. So I still got some work to do on here to figure out how to get my chat. It tells me my chat rate, and I have 6 people in here viewing. Craziness. Anyways, how's everyone doing? Is everybody making that trucker money out there? From what I understand, freight's still doing about what it was doing last year. So, Gene Scott, what's up, buddy? Gene Scott says, "What's up, buddy? Hope all's going well with you. Just enjoying the trucking life. How's it going, Greenwich? Try calling you about a week ago. Figured you were asleep. So yeah. Hey, everything's going good. I'm working out there. I'm still doing my thing. I'm training students, getting them ready for their test, and I'm still working. So I am still out there training. I'm still getting people ready to test out. And, I'm still at Prime. Had somebody the other day message me, "Hey, are you still at Prime?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm still at Prime." But $1 a mile. Let's go $1 a mile. But yeah, it's that time of the year where it's starting to warm up. I'm hoping like we're getting closer and closer to some better weather. It was like 70 degrees today. It was real nice out there on the pad. Like a perfect day for pre-trip. Like I give my students about 2 days to get that pre-trip down. Like they get it down in 2 days, we're good. If they don't, then start we work on it more. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to get some comments up here. Oh wow. I'm just clicking on stuff now. Just trying to get it. I would like my chat to be on this side. It's on this side. It's bugging me. We're going to get it figured out, though. Sooner or later, I'm going to get this thing figured out, and we're going to be able to go live and have no issues again. Okay, studio mode. Let's see, start virtual camera, studio mode settings. Oh, wow. I don't like that. I'm hoping that it's like full screen and it's not cut off or anything too. We're turning studio mode back off. Yeah, it's just one of those days, man. I'm gonna figure this thing out. It's bugging me that it's not right. I spent a lot of today down here trying to fix this too. Man. I just don't know how to get my chat back on here. Oh well, we'll figure it out some other time. I'm not even tripping. So last week I tested out my guy that came in with a CDL. He passed his test, or actually Monday. Monday he passed his test. He got it's a little eval CDL holders do. He did his eval. He did awesome. He passed, and he's the guy in the last video I made. Push the blue button, see what that does. The blue button says stop stream. And it also says go live, so I think it's kind of weird that it says go live, but yeah, I'm not gonna press the blue button. But he took his little eval, which CDL holders that little eval is not hard. So it's just showing that you can do the job. So it's showing you can do the pre-trip. It's showing that you can back into a spot, and it's showing that you can safely drive the truck. So it's super easy. If you have a CDL and you're trying to come to Prime, just know that if you have no experience, little to no experience, you're gonna have to take a little eval. So yeah, you will have to do your pre-trip again. Show them that you can do it. Paper Chase Truckers. Never broke again. NBA. What's going on, Paper Chase? How have you been? Slowpoke. I hear you in Kenly, North Carolina. North Carolina. That's one of my kryptonite states. That's where my truck breaks down. Angel says, which is the best season to learn to drive a truck, winter or summer? Thanks. In my opinion, the best time to learn is wintertime. And my whole theory about it, the whole theory I have on why to come in the wintertime is the harder it is, the harder everything is on you, and the more nervous you are, the more prepared you'll be for the better weather. So if you come out here in the wintertime, you're learning how to drive the truck and you're dealing with the winter, aka slow down, be safe. But if you learn how to do it whenever you're real nervous, whenever it becomes easy, everything's easier for you. Like, I'll give you an example. I'll take some of my guys, I take them down this little narrow road, and on their first drive, I would take them down this little narrow road, and they would be like, they were gripping the steering wheel, checking their mirrors. It's a real narrow road. So they're really nervous. And then we get out in town, and the lanes are normal size, and they're all like, man, this is boring. So because it was so stressful and so hard on them, whenever we were on the little narrow road, whenever it became the nice normal size lanes, then they weren't nervous at all, and they were all like, man, this is kind of boring. So, the harder it is the harder or the more you can push yourself, then the better you're going to be. So at the start, push yourself hard, and everything else will be a lot easier. Paper Chase is living his dream. Winter doesn't have to be winter. Don't have to learn in the snow by yourself. Yeah, and that's another thing right there is whenever you learn during the winter, then you have a trainer back there to help you out in the wintertime. So you have somebody that's like able to have your back in case you do get into a situation out there. You could open up the curtain and be like, "Hey, I need help up here," and your trainer can get up and be like, "All right, well, let's do this," or let's find a truck stop and just pull over for the day. So definitely, it's good. Paper Chase says he survived the 125. I haven't really been using that roll very much here lately, Paper Chase. I haven't. I've been doing so many loads for Eco Shred that most of my students' driving experience comes from Eco Shred loads right now. I still take them over to the industrial area. We drive the industrial area. We learn how to make turns. Sometimes I still drive them through like around the mall, around Bass Pro Shop. We go sightseeing, as I call it. It's kind of like a little tour. I'm all like, hey, let's go drive around Springfield. I'm like, there's the mall. Go around to Bass Pro Shop. I'm all like, hey, check out Bass Pro Shop. It's I call it like a little tour. So we go on the little tour around town. But yeah, the guys, man, my guys that drove 125, they all like for their test, they weren't no problems on the driving part. They were confident. And that 125, it fixed a lot of people. So anybody not checking their mirrors enough, you go down 125 in Missouri 125, you have to check your mirrors. So it kind of gets all the nerves out. I used to kind of say it scares you straight. Scares you straight, man. If you're messing up out there and you need to straighten up, it's gonna scare you straighten up. It's gonna scare you, and you're gonna be like, "Yep, I'm checking my mirrors now." And then whenever you get back onto the regular size lanes, you're all like, "Man, this ain't nothing." But I forgot about that. Paper Chase was definitely on that road. Definitely. And there's a lot on these eco shred loads that I'm doing. It's a lot of like city driving, and it's a lot of like good turns. There are some really good turns, and it's small places we go. 125 will have you puckered. Eh, like that road 125, I'll tell you, some of the biggest like guys ever, like some of the strongest, biggest guys ever that looked like they weren't scared of nothing. I took them on that 125 and like heard them scream or like get really really nervous, and they're all like, it's something else. It's a nice road though. It to me, I kind of compare it to like going on a load to Arkansas. You go to your first load in Arkansas and you're all like, man, this is windy and small roads. And especially if you're going down like 65 or, something like that through Arkansas, you get to those spots where the road's real narrow. And I think it prepares you better for stuff like that. You know what? I'm going to start taking my guys on that road again whenever I get a chance. It'll be fun. There's a lot of ways. There's a lot of ways to make it easier, and that one of the best ways to make trucking easier is push yourself. Push yourself. Don't push yourself to do something unsafe, but push yourself. Hey, if the speed limit's 55, push it up to 55. Push it up to 55. The more you can do the speed limit, the more you build your confidence in there. And that's what a lot of trucking is. It's about having confidence. So like when you make a turn, it's not like in a small car where you're all like, it's kind of safe. I'm gonna go for it, and you look back and you're like trying to rush to beat a car. Trucking is actually like stopping and saying, yeah, do I have is it completely safe? Okay, the car is way down there. That side's completely safe. That side's completely safe, and then commit to your turn. Because if you're just sitting there and you're like keep on looking back, I mean, like you got to have that confidence. You need to have that confidence to make a decision. Hey, is it safe to turn? Yes. Do I have enough? Is it clear on both sides enough to make the turn? Because you shouldn't have to look back to see if a car's coming. If you made sure that it was safe before you committed to your turn, then you shouldn't have any reason to like double and triple check it. Sometimes you just have to jump head first. Yeah, sometimes you just gotta jump in there and go with it. You know, it's 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 not a it's it's about being safe in a truck, I will say. So having the confidence, we don't want I don't want somebody that's overconfident. That's all I, hey, watch this. No, no, we don't want that. We want somebody that's going to be safe, that's going to make sure that it's safe. In a turn out there, you can't really it so say you're checking triple checking and whatever to see if a car's coming. In a truck, you don't really have that option to speed around that turn, because if you go too fast, if you get it up to about 25, 30 miles an hour in a like right turn, you're running a chance of rolling it. Depending on how it's loaded and stuff like that, you want to slow it down in the turns. Very slow in the turns, safe. You don't want to go too fast in no turns. Curves are the same way. You don't want to go too fast on curves. Some of my best students came out here and they they just get that mindset of this is kind of like driving my car, except for I don't chance anything. So in a car, you pull up to a light with a yield sign and you're turning right. In a car, just go past the yield sign. Everybody does it. Like you kind of check and see if it's safe. In a truck, you don't do that. You come up to that yield sign, you stop, you make sure it's safe. If it's completely safe, boom, you go ahead and make your turn. You so I mean there's it's kind of like driving a car. Like the checking your mirrors should be the same as driving a car. Using your blinkers should be the same as driving your car. Checking your mirrors while you're doing a lane change, you should do it the same way in your car. What you really got to work on when you come out here to drive a truck, the main things is you should be working on making turns. So number one, making turns, and I'd say number two is learning how to stay wide in a curve. I like to tell, especially if I have a student that's a NASCAR fan, I try to tell them, hey, doing a curve, like going around a curve, is the opposite of NASCAR. So in NASCAR, you stay on the inside of the curve. You want to stay on the inside, get around it fast as you can. In trucking, we're going to stay wide as we can. We're going to stay as wide as we can and go around it. It's the opposite of NASCAR. So, it's all about safety and being safe and having confidence, building that confidence up. Just like for your test, when you go take your test, you should have the confidence. And I'm not saying that you're not going to be nervous. Everybody's nervous when they take a test. Every single student I have ever tested was nervous out there. Even the guys that were all like, I wasn't nervous at all. You were nervous. Like we all get nervous when we have to take a test. The thing is, can you deal with your nerves? Some people can deal with it really well. Some people they can't deal with their nerves, and they end up failing. Well, two things will happen test day. You will either pass or you will fail. So if you fail, guess what? You get another test day. Two things will happen that time. You will either pass or you will fail. Uh, have you heard of the company Jimson Express? Would you recommend them coming out of a school? I have not heard of them. I have not heard of them. When you're coming right out of a school, man, you're gonna just want to get some experience. So for you, it's look at everyone that will hire you straight out of a school. Look at everyone that will hire you, and then find out the one that works best for you. If you can find some drivers of that company, like Go to a truck stop, man. Walk around in a truck stop. Just walk around it. And when you see somebody from that company getting out their truck, like don't just walk up to their door, but you see them coming around the front of their truck and go in the store. Hey man, how you like that company? See what they say. Because a lot of truckers, and they'll talk to you. They want to talk to you. Da, 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 da. Yeah, keep those eyes moving. Don't just watch ahead, like Greenwich said. You got to keep those eyes moving. So you're gonna. I tell my students it's kind of like this. You look in front of you, as far as you can see up the road. You check your mirrors, you look in front of you, you check your gauges, you see what speed you're doing, you make sure that you're doing the right speed. You look back in front of you, you check your mirrors, and you just keep that rotation going. And that should be every 5 to 7 seconds. You should be checking your mirrors every 5 to 7 seconds. Just like Greenwich said, you want to know what's going on behind you, beside you. You want to know where your trailer is. You want to know what's going on way up the road. You want to kind of pay attention to how other cars are acting. If somebody's swerving in front of you a lot, like, different stuff like that, you have to pay attention because if you notice a car's not paying attention, you're all like, man, this guy seems like he's not paying attention. Odds are he's probably not paying attention. He might be on something. He might be texting. He might be playing a video game while he's driving. There's a lot of road hazards out there. I keep trying to click on comments to pop them up on the screen. I can't do that. Uh, Carol says, talk about safety talk about trucks and motorcycles, please. I will tell you why. LA few thanks. Talk about trucks and motorcycles, please. Like a bobtail head. Yeah, motorcycles are, you know, I mean, what do you want me to say? Yeah, motorcycles they go fast down the road. Not all of them, but some of them. They like to in California and certain places they like to do what's called splitting the lane, so they will drive right between you and another car. It's to me, I don't think it's very safe because there's a lot of wind coming from underneath your truck, behind your truck, and stuff like that. It's kind of nerve wracking because you don't want them to end up underneath your trailer or anything like that. Um, yeah, motorcycles are motorcycles. Some are safe drivers, some are unpredictable. Hopefully every motorcycle keeps their eyes open. Hopefully every motorist keeps their eyes open for motorcycles always. Yeah. Yeah, they're small vehicles. I don't ride a motorcycle. A lot of my friends ride motorcycles and they try to be like, "Hey man, you should get a bike ride with us." And I'm all like, "Nah, I'm good." Like I'm not kind of a motorcycle guy, like the wind blowing and stuff like that. I moved out of Texas in West Texas where it was windy to get away from the wind. I'm not gonna ride a motorcycle to be all in the wind again. But you just gotta be safe out there with them. I've been in the truck where I hear a guy on the radio on the CB. They're all like, "Hey, be careful! There's a motorcycle running up the side of the road." And I'm all like, I check my mirror and like, boom, this dude's flying. And I'm all like, really? You're on the shoulder of the road going that fast? There's all kinds of debris and stuff over there. But they were trying to get somewhere. Yeah, motorcycles are not fun. I mean, they're fun, but I mean, like around trucks, like splitting the lanes and stuff like that. I don't think that they should be able to split the lanes like they do. Like I really don't. I think if just wait in the traffic with everyone else. It's not hard. Vlogs says, I know you answer this. Maybe things change Would you get your license first or just join a company? It depends what I'm doing with with my CDL. It really does. So, like, if the only reason I would go to a school instead of going to a company, to like a mega carrier, the only reason I would do that is just to not have the manual restriction on my license. So if I needed the if I needed to drive manuals for the job I was going for, then I wouldn't want the restriction on there. But if I knew the company I was looking at going to or what I wanted to do was drive automatics, then I just go to a mega carrier. And the mega carrier has some benefits like, you're guaranteed a job. Like once you pass your test, you're hired on, and now you have a job where you're getting the verified experience. Where some trucking schools don't, or most trucking schools don't guarantee you a job placement and stuff like that. So it's really whatever you want to do. It's whatever you feel that's going to be best for you in your situation. Greenwich says the most reputable companies want 2 years of experience. Yes, and that's true too. So like when you have a CDL, most of your good paying jobs with the good benefits require at least 2 years of experience. Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. Uh, Carol says, thanks. My daughter was killed on a motorcycle and was airborne in a 18 wheeler, hit the back axle, middle of the trailer, killed instantly. Driver was on drugs and oh, wow. I'm sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that. Sorry for your loss. Do you recommend to get your CDL through a school or a mega carrier from Las Vegas, Nevada? That's up to you. That's up to you. Do what you want on that. Like do some research and find out what's going to be best for you. I would recommend going to a mega carrier because you need the experience. You need a guaranteed job. You need the experience. So my thing is I I would recommend somebody come to a mega carrier, get a CDL, get like Prime, and get your CDL and get that verifiable experience. And like Greenwich said, most of your good jobs are going to require 2 years of experience. So, come out here. The year contract is it's a year contract. You're going to get 1 year of good experience. Once you get finished with that year, then that you don't even have to pay nothing for that CDL. Your year of experience kind of covers the cost of your CDL. So the company's like, hey, if you come work for us, sign a contract that you will work for us for a year, then that covers the cost of your CDL. So like it's a good deal. If you go to a school, you're out the money up front and they don't guarantee that you're going to pass. We don't guarantee that you're going to pass here either though. That's horrible. Yeah. Thank you for your condolences. It's hard to watch videos about truckers, but all you have a job to do and have a job to tell about others. So watch out for motorcycles. Yes, yes. Well, watch out for motorcycles, definitely. And it's sad. It's sad that that happened. You know, it is sad. It's a bad situation. Trucking company is no longer in business. I shut him down. Yeah, I I don't even know what to say. You know, I'm glad that we got stuff that's Like, I'm glad that they like drug test and stuff where I work, and we don't have anyone driving down the road on drugs and do something like that. River Rich Smokers, West Virginia. Yo, yo, yo. What's up, River Rich? How are you doing? My computer crashed, man. I had to start all the way over. Like I had to reset everything. It's been horrible. Like I don't even have a chat up here on the screen or nothing. It's all the way over here. Like it's craziness. Yeah. Yeah, you got to keep your eyes out for those motorcycles. You have to keep your eyes out. It's a small vehicle. It's a small vehicle. And if you ride motorcycles, like try to try to get past the trucks. Stay away from the trucks because they're a longer vehicle. You don't, and that goes for anybody. Like one thing that really annoys me or like gets on my nerves is whenever I have a car that wants to pull up next to my trailer, like say we're on the interstate or whatever, and they like to get right next to your trailer and just hang out there. It's like, nah, man, get down the road, get out of here. So, uh, trucking GPS or cell phone? Trucking GPS. If you're gonna make me pick between a cell phone or a trucking GPS, I'm gonna choose the trucking GPS. So yeah, definitely. Um, Road Atlas is a good tool to use. Your phone GPS is not good because it's not going to tell you about the low bridges and the weight limits of bridges and stuff like that. It's not a good tool for that. The trucking GPS usually has everything on it, but you still need to read your signs. You still need to do your trip planning and check stuff. I've had trucker GPS like tell me, "Hey, you can go down this road and there's a low bridge on it." You see the signs and you're like, "What?" I've had trucker GPS like the worst thing you can do with a to me one of the worst things you can do following a GPS, a trucker GPS is miss that turn or miss that exit because whenever it needs to reroute you, I've seen it where it told me to go down the side of this house and turn around the house. Like it's all like, yeah, just go down the dirt road that goes like one side of their driveway, like an old farmhouse. It's like go down the side this driveway, go around the back of their house and come back out on the other side. I'm all like, what? I'm all like, there's no way I'm turning in someone's yard like that. Chris Moore, how long do you have to be at a job to be considered by prime? You have to have 2 years of verifiable work history. So like you can have multiple jobs. It's just you need to be show that you worked for the last 2 years. So yeah, it just your best thing to do is put in your application, talk to a recruiter, and like be honest with them. Be like, hey, the reason I didn't have a job from this time to this time is nobody would hire me, or the reason I had to take care of a family member, or whatever the case may be. So if you have gaps in there, justify them. Let them know why there's gaps in your work history. Paper Chase Trucking says, cell phone doesn't know you're in a semi and let you know about important things you need to know. Yeah, don't be following the phone as your GPS. Yes, and Greenwich, 100% right there. Greenwich, road signs overrules GPS, 100%. 100%. Rich says, who needs a sign? Most people can't read. Yeah, nah, it's all good. And I was watching a thing on Arkansas the other day. I watched a couple of videos on Arkansas, pulling people into the weight stations and making them take some kind of test to verify that they speak, they can write, and they can read English. Like if you come through there with a CDL, you have to verify that. I was like, wow. But to get your CDL, you have to take a test that's in English, that's wrote. It's multiple choice, but you have to be able to read that. So you think anybody with a CDL can read, write, and speak English? But you never know. I just thought it was kind of odd and interesting. Then I was like, wow. Greenwich can't see signs or GPS. Yeah, but he can hear it. Greenwich turns that volume all the way up on his GPS. When you're talking to him on the phone, when you call him and talk to him on the phone while he's driving, you can hear that GPS. And sometimes he even talks back to her. He's all like, I ain't going that way. I know where I'm going. I ain't going that way. So Greenwich, he knows his roads. He's like, I'm going this way. I've been doing the same thing. Like I started like a bunch of these eco shed places we go to a lot. Like I'm there a whole bunch. So I got where I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go this way because it's a lot better. So I've been changing that around a lot. Vlog says I remember trucking vlogs being romantic. What happened? Right? Yeah, hey, you can still change the voices on them. River River Rich says apparently he writes directions on the windshield. I don't I don't know what you're talking about. I've heard of people writing their directions on the windshield. I've also heard about people having like little notepad and they write their directions down in the distance. Like I've seen that before. Greenwich says he drives these roads by memory. When we apply and enter the referral code, does that mean the person is going to train us? It does not mean that the person's going to train you. When you add a referral code, you're saying that that's the person that referred you to the company. Now, if you talk to the person that you're using their referral code, you talk to them, keep in touch with them, and if they accept to train you, then they'll train you. If they're like, I'm not training you, then they're not going to train you. So I try to train everybody that uses my referral code that contacts me. Like I try to train everybody that does that. But sometimes the training department has like a student that really is struggling, and they're all like, "Hey, will you go? Will you? I need you to train this guy instead of this guy." So whenever that happens, I usually ask them, "Hey, can you put him with so and so?" Then, like that happened to Gene Scott, if Gene's is still in here. But Gene in the comments, he came in and I was supposed to train him, and ended up that I had to train somebody else because they were kind of a special case and they needed extra help. So they put the guy that needed extra help with me, and I talked him into letting Tennessee Flatbedder. I told him to put Gene on Tennessee Flatbedder's truck because I trusted Tennessee Flatbedder to get the job done, and he did. Mike says hi. Oh, you want it? You want the GPS to be adventurous? Yeah, and Gene hates flashlights. Me and Greenwich were just talking about that the other day about Gene playing with that flashlight and shocking himself. Uh, Greenwich says, "Yep, right on the windshield with a Sharpie and then clean it off with Windex." right in front of you. Yeah, I've never tried that. I never tried to ride on the windshield. I've seen people that do that. I've seen that a couple times. Hey, if it works for you, it works. Like Mike says, "Hi, it's Mike. What's going on, Mike?" But yeah, it's a good spot to write stuff though. I don't know, like up in the top corner or something, or out of the way of your view, like where you can look over and read it and keep on driving. What state are you? Wow. Shoot. I'm in Missouri. I'm in Missouri. What state are you in? You're in Ohio. Okay, nice. B&B BRB trucking. What's up? But yeah, GPS trucking GPS, they're good. Like half the people say Rand McNally's the best, half the people say Garmin's the best. I like Rand McNally better. They wrote the GPS, or they write the atlas in the truck stop. They make that, so that's the one I use. I don't know what this Mike guy is talking about. I'm graduating this year as a senior from. So Mike is graduating as a senior. Well, Mike, are you 21 years old? Are you 21 years old? Because that's the only reason you should be on this channel. You gotta be 21 to get a CDL. Well, it depends where you're at. At Prime, you gotta be 21. BRB Trucking says just out here in New Jersey picking up a load. Student is driving. Let's go. Let's go. This Hey, one thing I will tell you. So I forgot about this. The Not too long ago, the other day, I'll say the other day, one of one of my friends was telling me that he took his student over the road, his PSD student, and he was teaching him how to drive and stuff. And they're out there driving, and his student was like, "Hey, once I drive 10 hours, I'm not driving no more." So he was all like, "Hey, what's this about?" And I was like, "I don't know." And he was all like, "How much drive time do they have to test out?" And I was like, "Well, there's a minimum that they have to drive." So I told him what that was. And I was like, "It doesn't matter what the minimum is. If that student is able to drive, he has hours on his clock and he's able to drive, he needs to be driving." So, like if you're a student coming out here, you should not look at this as I'm working for free. No, you're not working for free. You're getting experience behind the wheel. So, it ends up that he got with his fleet manager like I told him to do. He talked to his fleet manager. He was all like, "Hey, this is what's going on." His fleet manager called the student, told him, "Hey man, you came to a trucking job. It requires you to drive." So they got it all worked out. Student was driving. He was just, I don't know, he just felt like he was working for free, but really you're getting something that's more than money. It's experience behind the wheel. All right, Mike is 18. Mike is 18, and if anyone wants to go to his graduation, it's coming up. There, Mike took a timeout. Since he's 18, I gave him a timeout, so he can just set in timeout for 30 minutes. Damn, you think I'm great? Yeah, I gave him timeout. He can still listen to everything, but he can't talk for 30 minutes. So yeah, you want to talk? You want to talk faster than that, Mike? Start up a new YouTube account. There you go. Start up a new YouTube account and subscribe with it. I'm cool with that. But yeah, if you're here and you want to learn how to drive a truck, you need to be behind the wheel as much as possible. And if you're on my truck, say you're on my truck and we're going over the road for 2 weeks, I'll tell you straight up. If you're my student, I'm going to tell you straight up. Hey, look, I don't drive my truck. I don't. You're going to do all the driving. The only time I wheel drive is whenever it's absolutely necessary to make the load. If it's not that, then I don't drive my truck. I tell my students, hey, you're going to be inside the truck. You're going to be the one that's doing the backing. I'm going to be out there helping you, but you're going to be the one behind the wheel. And that's how it should be. Whenever I became an instructor, they told us that in the class. There was a guy there named George, and George was like, he goes, I don't want you to drive your truck. I want your student to do 100% of the driving or as much as you can. Like, and that's how it should have been. I'm jumping in late, but the miles you drive with trainers are paid, right? So on the PSD, so before you get your CDL, whatever miles you're doing right there, they are not paid. They're not paid. And actually when you're on TNT, they're not paid either because it's kind of weird how it works. On PSD, they give you a 10,000 mile credit is what they do. So your normal TNT would be like 40,000 miles, but since you went through the Prime program, they knock it down to 30,000 miles. So it's like a 10,000 mile credit to add up to that 40K. But we just all just round it. We just be like, ah, man, TNT is only 30K miles. But anyways, so you get kind of a credit there. And then during TNT phase, you get paid hourly. Some kind of formula they use. I did a video of it whenever it first came out. I can't remember it off the top of my head. I know you get 4 free hours a day and then all your time added up by the hour, whatever it is. But that's how you're getting paid on TNT. The miles add up to when you get off the truck is how it works. Timeout. My phone is broke. When they go with me, the student does all the work. Yeah, and that's also true. So like Greenwich says, the student's going to do all the work whenever a student goes with him, and that's 100% true. Like whenever I have a student, they're not going to learn if you're not putting them out there to do the work. They're not going to learn. That hands-on that hands-on experience is what they need. So like me, for example, I'm not going to get out there and hook up and unhook. Let me take that back. That sounded bad. I'm going to get out of the truck. But I'm not going to unhook and hook up the trailer. I'm not. I'm going to let my students do it because they need the hands-on experience. They need to know how to do that. So I'm all like, hey, there you go. And that's one of the complaints that TNT trainers were saying is that students do not know how to hook up and unhook a trailer. So if that's one of the biggest complaints on the TNT side, then hey, I'm going to make sure my guys definitely do it. None of my students can say, hey, you never taught me how to raise and lower the landing gear, or hey, you never told me to hook up the airlines or the electrical line, whatever. Because especially on days we do loads, we pick up a trailer. So that's one time hooking up a trailer. We go to like a place to drop that trailer. Not only do we got to drop that trailer, but we're not doing dropping hooks. We're pulling it out of a door, putting it back in. So you got to unhook that trailer. You got to hook up the trailer in the door, pull it out of the door, unhook that trailer, hook back up the trailer you brought, put it in the door, unhook that trailer, and then hook up the one that you brought that you're taking back with you. And then whenever you get back, you're gonna unhook that trailer. So that's about 8 times of hooking and unhooking a trailer, either or. That's about 8 times of you actually doing either the unhooking or hooking up of a trailer. So there shouldn't be no reason that one of my guys don't know how to hook up a trailer. To apply for Prime, we must have to have the CL. No, you don't have to. It's nice if you do have your permit already. Um, you're gonna need the tanker endorsement. You're gonna need your medical card. Put in the application. Talk to the recruiter. All that stuff. Get your day set up. It's a lot easy. The hardest thing about coming to Prime is putting in the application. You can know nothing about trucking and put in that application, and that recruiter's going to call you and they're going to tell you what to do step by step. They're going to be like, hey, go down to the DMV, take your permit test on this and this. And they, if I remember right, mine I think, yeah, mine emailed me the parts of the test that I needed to take. So my recruiter emailed me a list of all the sections that I needed to read to test. So I didn't have to read the whole book on everything. So I just studied the ones that I had to test on that I needed for Prime. So your recruiter is going to be like the one that helps you the most in the whole process. Uh Not sure if it's still the same, but miles the trainer drove during TNT counts towards your miles. Yes, yes. So it's a team truck, and all the miles of that truck, you and your trainer added together is going to add up to the 30K. It's dispatched miles. Can we have your trucker reference code just in case? Sounds My driver code is COXDJO. That's my driver code, and if you're gonna use it on the application, then also send me a text letting me know when you're gonna get here, because you let me know when you're gonna get here, I'm gonna be able to tell you, hey, if I have somebody coming in that week or not. Like this week, I had nobody coming in, so I my truck's open for another student right now. So hopefully tomorrow I get another student. I don't even know. I might have another student right now. I didn't even check. I checked earlier, but I haven't checked it again. Yeah, see, I'm no student. I'm still available for another student right now. Have you ever trained any women? I've trained women before, but I no longer train women, unfortunately. Is Jenny still your recruiter? Yes, Jenny is still my recruiter. And you're welcome, Vlogs. Yeah, Jenny's still my recruiter, Jenny Trans. And she's pretty good. I like her. She's real good. I shouldn't say pretty good. She's real good. So she's been my recruiter for probably like 3, 4 years now. You know, I think that she does really well. Most of the guys that I have come in and they have Jenny as their recruiter, they they're fine. I don't have many problems. Like so other recruiters, I get guys in that don't have the tanker endorsement. You have to have the tanker endorsement and all kinds of stuff. Paper Chase says he trained me 3 years ago and is the best. Oh, thank you, man. I'm not the best. I'm not the best trainer. We got a lot of great instructors at Prime. Like I'm not the best. I'm I don't even know how I do it really. Like I don't even know how I do it. Sometimes I get a student and I'm all like, man, there's no way I'm gonna get this guy to learn. And then somehow he starts picking it up, and I'm like, yeah, let's go. Like, I don't know how I did it. On average, how much does the company driver make? Just curious if I want to leave my current career. Uh, you see, I don't know. I just go off of what the what's it called? The Prime page says. So you can Google Prime and they have it broken down what you make as a company driver versus lease versus flatbed tanker. You know, they have it all broken down. I would say on average a company driver makes probably 65 to 70K a year if I had to guess. And a lease solo truck, because I'm not talking about training on either one of them. You know, a solo lease truck. I think after they pay everything on their truck, it's probably like, I would say probably like 70 to like 95,000 a year. And correct me if I'm wrong, Greenwich and River Rich and whoever else is leasing here, because you could give a lot better average for lease. What would one of you guys say? And I'm talking about after everything's paid, taxes and everything, like to your bank. Like, what would be like a good estimate? Sean says first week in the books with Snyder, owner op, and it's okay so far. Let's go. Let's go. Nice. Congratulations. Snyder, huh? I looked at Snyder for a while whenever I came out. So that's one of the places I researched. I researched Snyder, US Express, researched Swift and Prime, and I ended up coming here to Prime. And I'm glad I did because like I met some amazing people out here. Do I recommend any special recruiter? Jenny Trans. She's my recruiter, so she will be the best to help you out. That's who I would say. To me, she does a great job answering people's questions, getting all the stuff lined up. Like usually, so it's always been a struggle that people do not bring a blank check or a direct deposit form. And most of my guys that had Jenny as their recruiter, they remember to bring it. So, like, let's go. Vlog, thank you and good advice. Oh, you're welcome anytime. Anytime. That's why I do this is if anyone ever has questions right here Thursday nights, this is whenever I like to get all the questions worked out and help people out as much as I can. Whether you're coming to Prime, you're going somewhere else, whatever your question may be. Sometimes people ask me some questions that I don't know the answer of. I'm all like, I'm gonna have to be back with it. And then I get my normal questions like, what kind of drug test do y'all do? Like that's like one of the biggest questions I get asked. I get asked that about like, I don't know, like 10 times a week. Greenwich says for lease if you're so I'm trying to stay out for long periods, you can make 100K solo. So Greenwich said if you're willing to work hard, and you're willing to stay out, a solo lease truck can make 100K. So, but it's different with each person too. Like, like if you notice, he says work hard. So like you're looking at like doing it. Just like on the lease side, I mean the company side, I had like so whenever I started, Whenever I started, it was me, my friend Matt, Steve, Andrew, Will. Like there was a whole group of us, and we were always talking on the phones. Well, you had like one of the guys. He was like, "Man, I only drive during the day. Like I only drive during the day." Um, he he was having a lot of issues. I had one of our one of our buddies. Also, he was like his dispatcher would be like, "Hey, are you ready for a load?" And he would be like, "Nah, I'm gonna go in here and take a shower and then I'll be ready. Or I'm gonna go eat lunch at this cafe and then I'll be ready. I'll let you know." So guess what? You're not available for the load. He missed the load that he was gonna get, and he ended up sitting there for another day. So, it's also on you. You're gonna make money in trucking if you're able to manage your clocks and if you're willing to drive whatever the load requires. If you're good at those two things, time is money, and being willing to drive nights, days, whatever the load takes, whatever you need to drive for that load, then you're going to do great. Everyone has to find their own way to, because, what works for me might not work for somebody else. Because I had a buddy ran out his clocks every day. That did not work for me. I couldn't make consistent money. I like making consistent checks. So what worked for me was 8 hours a day. Greenwich says I always suggest that brand new drivers go company for the first 6 to 12 months, and that's good too. Like I used to say the same thing. I used to say the same thing, but I've had I've had several students that whenever they came out here, they were really good with their money. They were hard workers. They worked hard, and they jumped right into a lease and they're doing great. So for most people, I think that it's a good ideal to do like 6 to 12 months on the company side. I think that's a great ideal. And it's great to like start learning freight lanes and stuff like that while you're on the company side. The company side is going to keep you more, how do you say it? The company side is going to keep you more into like not refusing loads and stuff because you're all like, man, I don't want to go to that area. I'm scared of that area, or I don't want to go over this mountain, or I don't want to go here. So it kind of gets you more of the mindset of like, oh man, I went that way. I didn't want to go over there, but I went over there and it wasn't that bad. So I think it helps you out a lot. And you start learning the highways and the routes that's best for you, what to do in the winter and what to do in the summer, which highways are going to be the best for you, stuff like that. So I think that it really, really helps out in that aspect. Uh, Once a time we graduated is better lease operator or company. I appreciate your advice. Well, we were just talking about going company for like 6 months to a year. So I think that it's best to go company, especially if you don't know, like if you're still in that have that feeling of like I don't know if I'm gonna make money here or I'm not, or I'm kind of nervous about this and I'm nervous about that, and I don't want to mess up. Go company first. Is it impossible to invest the money from trucking to get out of it eventually, or is it just go, go, go? It depends what you want. I had a student. I've had a student that he said, "Man, I'm coming out here doing trucking because I want to do my what's it called? It's something to do with the The exchange of money. Uh, what is it called? It's like a kind of stock market, but with money. You can bet on, or not bet, but you can give your prediction of if it's going to go up and you make money, or if it goes down, you make money. What is it called? But it was about exchanging money. I forgot what it's called. Some kind of stocks and stuff. We'll just say that. But he was all like, I'm gonna take all my money and I'm gonna invest into this that I make trucking. And then once I do that, then I'm just gonna do this for the rest of my life. So that's what he did too. He worked for like 7 months and just invested all that money into that thing. And then what he did from there is once he became successful at it, then day trading. Yeah, I think that's what it's called, day trading. Well, he became successful at it. Then he opened up his own business or company where he just did that. And what he would do is somehow he got people to that didn't want to do it that were all like, "Hey, I want to make money, but I don't want to mess with it." So what he's doing now is he has a business where he takes people's money and he works his magic with it and he makes the money and makes their bank account bigger and then they pay him for doing it or give him a percentage or something, and that's all he does now. That's all he does every day is watches money like go up and down. He tried to teach me it, and like they had a free app of it, and you could play with fake money on the real market. I played with it for a while, try to figure it out. Like I was not good. He was teaching me the something about candlesticks. I remember that candlesticks and you know whatever it was. My thing is like at the same time every day except for the weekend you had to know what your play was because if you didn't cash out or get your money off the table at a certain time, it was stuck in there till the next day, no matter what happened to it. And if you forgot to get your money out of it on the weekend, it was stuck the entire weekend. You couldn't mess with it. I was like, man, that's kind of scary. So yeah, I mean, there's been several people like that. Like one of my students, he wanted to buy a couple trucks. He bought a couple trucks. He bought some trailers. He took them home and he started his own like little trucking business. So he's last time I talked to him, he's doing great. He's in Texas and he has drivers and stuff. So a lot of people have used trucking. I have students all the time that are all like, "Yeah, I'm using trucking to get to this part of my life. I'm using trucking to get here. I'm using trucking to push this forward. I'm using trucking to make some money so I can do this." I mean, I've had a guy that was like, "I'm gonna make money trucking, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna buy property and I'm gonna start flipping houses," and that's what he wanted to do. He was all like, "Look, I know how to fix most stuff wrong in the house. Like I know how to do repairs. I know how to fix stuff. I know how to wall. I know how to plumb. I know how to do electrical." Like he was like, "I know it all." He's all like, "I just don't have no money to start flipping houses." And that was his goal. He was like, "I'm gonna make money. I'm gonna buy my first house and I'm gonna flip it and I'm gonna still be driving so I can have more money saved up to buy the next one. Once I do a couple of them, then I'll have enough money I can quit trucking and just keep on doing that." And that's all he wanted to do. He was all like, "Man, I'm good with my hands doing construction work." And I was like, it's like, wow. And he was all like, "Yeah, man, you should do it too." And I was like, "Nah, nah, it's not for me. I'm not good at doing that stuff. Like, I'm not good at it. I just like construction and stuff like that. I'm like, man, go paint a house. Like, I painted houses, I painted a church, and I just don't like doing that stuff. Don't. To me, it's not that fun. But if that's what you're into and that's how you're gonna make a living, then go for it. Like, do it. Use trucking to push you forward. I've had guys that came out here and they wanted to be pilots. They're all like, "I came out here to do trucking first, but I'm gonna be a pilot." I'm all like, "Okay, I don't think we fly. We're not flying, but and what they're doing is they're saving up money to buy, like they got the pilot's license, but you need so many hours of flight time with a jet engine, and it's really expensive to like get a plane with a jet engine to fly it, but you need so many hours to do it. So what they did is they came out here trucking, saved up that money, and they're gonna buy the hours on a jet engine plane so they can start getting that experience. Same thing as trucking, we need experience. But they want to fly the big passenger planes and stuff like that. They need experience behind a jet engine. And that's how they get their experience. Okay, on the entertainment branch, any thoughts on Alex or Trucker Brown? If you're aware of them, they both trucking YouTube. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who Alex is. I don't know who Alex is. Trucker Brown used to work at Prime. When I came to Prime, Trucker Brown was still here, and like him and what was his name? Sean? Was it Sean? What was his name? Well, those two guys are the guys that I watched doing YouTube back whenever I came in. But yeah, Trucker Brown's been out for a long time. I don't watch it. I don't watch his channel though. I don't. When you live trucking out there and you got to make videos, you really don't watch other people's lives or their videos very much. Every once in a while, I'll just type in Prime on the search bar on YouTube, and I'll see everything that pops up, and I'll pick a video or two and I'll watch some of it. I tried to watch the whole video, but like some of them, I'm just like, yeah, I'm not watching this. At least I'm honest. Some of them, they'll have they'll have like good titles, and I'll try to skip forward and find the part that I want to watch. But yeah, it's all good. And I'm sure a lot of people do the same thing to my channel. They see my video and they'll watch a couple seconds of it and be like, nope, not this guy. So you gotta find the guy that kind of you vibe with, I guess. Like I'm big on, so whenever I see No Hippie Trucking and Transportation, when I see him put out a video or he's live, I like to stop in there and I'll watch his videos and stuff. Um, it's just because I like how he talks, and I like that he's really honest, and he's just he's just himself. Like I like it. Um, there's a couple channels that I watch. I used to watch, or I still, if he comes out with more videos, River Rich has a YouTube channel, and he has a lot of cooking videos on there and trucking stuff. So, you know, if I'm looking up a way to like cook something that like smoke something in a smoker, or just like a special dish, I'm going to River Rich's YouTube channel, and I'm making that. And then like I'll bring it to the party or whatever. I'll bring it, like it'll be for dinner or whatever. How'd you learn how to make this? I'm all like, I got my secrets. Nah, I tell them, hey, I'll watch this YouTube video. Yeah, I understand. Alex is a good creator that went so fast. I think he's out of trucking. There was a guy, I had a student that did YouTube, and his name was Alex, but I don't think it's the same guy. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know this guy. I haven't seen none of his videos. You talking about Alex the trucking guy? That's who popped up. Is that the name of his channel? Slowpoke, hit that like button. Right? We had like 40 something people in here and I don't know how many likes because my stuff's all messed up. I will get this stuff figured out though. Man, my whole computer was crashed. I believe so. Okay, yeah, I just seen them on there. I just Googled it. Not Googled it. I put it on the YouTube search bar and I found it. So, oh, here's the likes. It says 11 likes. And it says 14 viewers. 14 viewers. There we go. So, and you're next. Consistent is maximum. Yeah, I don't post enough. I don't post enough videos actually. Like, I'll be honest, I don't post enough videos. Most content creators, they're posting like 2 videos a week and stuff like that. I don't have time for that. I'm busy a lot. Well, yeah, let's see. How long have we been live? We've been live more than an hour, it looks like. I don't even know where. Let me just see what time it is. Yeah, it's time for me to get off of here. Well, hey, thanks for talking, everybody. It was a good live. Hopefully, I get everything in here fixed up, and we'll have a better live next time. It was fun talking to you all. Hopefully, we got some stuff answered, some questions, comments, and concerns answered, and